Before I start the episode of Dad Is Not A Noun, I want to thank my sponsor, the Real Dads Network. The Real Dads Network is a resource and network organization that provides information and opportunities to improve the lives of Black fathers. Through activities and events, the RDN promotes and portray positive Black fathers worldwide. For more information on the Real Dads Network, go to www.realdadsnetwork.org, as well as the link will be in the description below.
It's all for you. Yeah, yo. There whenever it matters, and even more when you feel like it doesn't. Protect you so you never feel like you wasn't. Know I'm right alongside you. Either that or I'm behind you, but always got you. End of discussion, nothing means more. First one to offer is shoulders for what you reach for. Thought I saw the eyes of the world until I seen yours. And know that I ain't see a better view yet. I'm with whatever, so don't ever you fret. Know that you covered, not a hurdle or a heartbreak. A change what a partake, cause none of them won't ever get comfortable in your walkway. My job is to aware you, fully loaded, prepare you for all of the above that I'm never letting get near you. But still in all, give you every advantage I found. Couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, I've been down. Cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Ishmael from Dad Is Not A Noun. It's all about changing the narrative for men of color and fatherhood, and also about changing the narrative about things I care about. And the one thing I care about is one of my favorite artists that's with me right now, the legendary Frank McComb. Frank McComb, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm alive and healthy.
And then
I
also, I
can't
want to
complain.
pose this question to you. How's your heart?
Yeah.
Because often we say how you doing in our meeting with people, and sometimes people don't mean it, and so words
Right.
have matter.
Right.
So how's your heart?
Uh, well, are we talking figuratively or are we talking physically? Because I'm good either way.
Okay, mentally, physically, everything that goes inside
Oh
together.
yeah. I'm good, man. I'm good. You just gotta, stay away from the negative. That's all. Stay away from the negative. And just, keep yourself surrounded with positive energy, positive people.
and
And
that's
just
what
don't take any foolishness, and you're good to go.
and that's a good
Yeah,
thing to do, because
yeah,
it's
that's what you
hard,
gotta do.
because you're in the music business and you get
Hmm.
a lot of foolishness in your way. So how do you stay away
Yeah.
from that?
Well, be honest with you, man. I just wherever I see it, I just go the opposite direction. You know, I just do. I stay in my lane. I stay in my lane, man. I was called to do what I'm called to do. And, nobody else's money from their concerts are going to pay my bills. It's not going to pay my bills. So why should I concern myself with anybody else? Looking to the left, looking to the right. In this business, musicians, recording artists, especially recording artists, get caught up in trying to keep up. Well, what are you keeping up with? You keeping up with your own thing, or you keeping up with what somebody else is doing? I don't care about what somebody else is doing. Uh, I will say the one thing that does rub me is that I see a lot of people that kind of take my ideas or have taken my ideas and they've gone through the channels politically and gotten Grammys for that stuff, and that could rub
Wow.
somebody the wrong way. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. It's happened a few times. I won't mention who. I know who. I just won't mention. But it's. I'm not one to exploit people, but I do tell the testimony. So when things like that happen, it is hard to um, contain your anger. It's hard to contain. It's hard to not want to quit. Because you don't want taking everybody that you've done. If you don't want people rather taking everything that you've done and running it up to political channels because they may have a little more political power or more contacts than you, and then run and do that kind of thing. So I just keep my eye on God and my family and try to keep my heart healthy and my mind healthy. You know, just
And then
that's what
and
I
then
got to do.
overall, because I'm a big advocate for mental health. But how do you
Hmm.
keep your mental health at a optimistic? Because it's a challenge. Like you said, it's hard to you see all the stuff that going on to just keep your
Mhm.
composure. So how do you keep yourself mentally healthy?
Well, first I take them problems to God and I let the Lord help me work it out. That's first and foremost. Um, then I may go somewhere and just scream. Go somewhere by myself and just scream and holler and get it all out so I don't take it out on nobody else. I've taken enough stuff out on my family, you know. We are this we tend to do that, and we have those of us that have families in this business, especially those of the men, the heads of the household. But that's in any walk if you really think about it, because you got executives out there that work for hotels, you got executives of just your local trash man. He's just trying to hold down a job, hold down his family, but he keeps getting knocked down by the powers that be. We go through this in every walk of life, and we end up taking it out on the family. And it's not the family's fault. That's your support system. So I had to learn the hard way over the years. Don't bring that stuff home from the road and take that out on your family. Go somewhere and work that thing out and then come home. you know, don't do that. Don't do that. Go somewhere else and work that thing out, and don't bring it into your place of refuge. You don't bring it in your home where you come home to relax and to woosah. You're not supposed to bring that stuff home. But we live and we learn that as we go. Especially those of us who didn't have fathers. I didn't have a father that could break some things down to me, man. I'm a chain breaker. My wife and I are chain breakers for both sides of our families.
Oh wow.
You know, to have kids from college. My daughter's about to graduate from college next month. My son graduated at 21 with 3 degrees. Now he's going to the LA Film School and about to graduate next year with another degree in music now. He went from sports to music. My daughter, she's got the hotel thing down, hotel management, hospitality, and event planning. She's got that down. Taking this McComb brand to the next level, because I didn't get to go to college and graduate. I had three piano lessons literally from my aunt Evelina. They were three 1 hour lessons, which means I had 3 hours of piano training. So,
Right.
and I didn't get to go to school. I'm straight from the streets. I learned everything in the bars in Cleveland, Ohio, and scratching up my mama's records, as I always say. But my kids, they went to school, they're graduating. So you just invest all that you went through. You get the good out of it and invest that good in your kids, man. And it's not always easy. That's not always easy, man. You got to be willing to get over your own issues and not take that stuff out on other people, or we just become just like the next black man, angry.
Yeah.
Another, wait, am I saying it right? Another statistic.
Yeah. No,
I
you're
don't want
right.
to be
Yeah.
that.
No, you're absolutely right. And
I
it's
don't want to be that.
amazing.
Not with my kids being that.
And it's
So
amazing.
somebody got to break the chain.
Yeah, and you have, and the amazing part about it is like the one
Yeah,
saying that one of my friends said, "How can you become something that you never seen?" And you didn't have a father figure, so how were you able to mold
yeah.
yourself into this father if you didn't have a father growing up?
Hmm. Well, I always try to become for my kids what I didn't have. You can actually teach something that was never taught to you.
Right,
And that's what I believe. I wasn't taught how to be a father. I wasn't taught how to be a husband. Life was on the job training, and I learned on them. And that's not really cool, but I had no other way to learn. My wife learned on me how to be a mother and how to be a wife. We don't get a book to teach us these things, man. We don't get that.
right,
So I did what I could to be for my kids what I didn't have. And we're not going to be perfect at that. We're not. We're
right,
still human. All you can do is the best you can do, and what you don't know, just try to learn along the way. And I see that the things that I learned as an older man or as a father, I'm able to watch my kids learn it at a young age. So that's
right,
part of breaking that chain too. The things that my wife and I had to learn. Now my daughter at an older age, my daughter and son picking that stuff up at the age they're supposed to. That's when you know you're
right,
doing your part.
right,
Yeah, that's when you know you're doing your part. Yeah. When you see them actually coming along and succeeding, and you know that you made the sacrifices for it, because nobody made the sacrifice for you in that area.
right,
That doesn't mean you're going to become like the situation and add another link to the chain, or you're going to choose to do opposite. And we chose to do opposite. But there's a flip side to that, doing the
right,
opposite. You're going to get hit with some stuff, man. You're going to have family that's going to think you're a joke or think you're crazy because you want something good out of life. You know, you're gonna have even people in the industry that just don't get it. Man, Frank got all this gift, but you ain't got no Grammys. Frank got all this gift, but he ain't all over the radio. Well, Frank ain't willing to pay that price that you did to get yours.
Mm,
That's the best way
that,
I can put it. Some things I just don't want to give up to get that, and if it's got to be that way, then so be it. And what God has for me, I will get. And that
right.
means fatherhood, that means in the music business, that means in every part of my life. But what God has for me, ain't no man gonna stop me from getting. And if it ain't meant for me to get, then it just ain't meant for me to have. But I'll take peace, happiness, and joy any day. Those are
Facts.
priceless things, man. And and my wife and I try to pass that down to our kids, man. Don't go after the don't go after because don't go on the side
and,
yeah, man.
and I think the
Yeah.
beauty too is I think through your career you learn the power of patience. So talk about that power of patience of being a father, a husband in the music
Oh,
industry. Talk about that.
I wish there was whiskey in this thing right now, man. Cause
Yeah. Was this
yeah.
a therapy
Mm,
session? That is not a noun.
uh, it's just cream soda Pepsi. It's just cream soda Pepsi.
I
But
know.
I wish it was whiskey for that answer, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. Listen, I'm not a preacher. I'm a Christian. I love the Lord, and I'm human. And in being human, I had to learn not to ask God to give me patience, because He
Right,
will give it to you, and you ain't gonna like it. You ain't gonna like the way He give it to you, because when you say that, you will have set yourself up for all kind of issues to face you.
wow.
Not you face them; they face you because they coming right at you.
Yeah.
The moment you ask God for patience, oh, I learned that the hard way, because He will answer prayer now. I'm telling you. And when I asked for patience, I had the craziest things coming at me.
Wow.
I mean, even down to driving my car, everybody jumping my way, coming at me directly. Just, I'm trying to remember. I'm telling you, it's real. I've lived it. I still live it. I do not ask for patience. Patience is something we just have to practice. You just
I
have to
like
practice that. You have to practice the art of patience. It's an art, man. That's not something that we can just do. I mean, let me tell you something. When I was a kid, if you would have told me when I was 17, 18 years old that I wasn't going to get my first album out until the year 2000, do you
wow.
know how far away that sounded in 1987, 88? If you would have told me that I wasn't going to get my first album out till literally the year 2000, can you just tell how that sounds? You ain't getting a record out till the year 2000. That's like, it sounds like two forevers in
Yeah.
1989. It sounds like two forevers.
Yes.
Like you ain't never gonna get a record out. If you would have told me I wasn't gonna get love stories out until the year 2000, I probably would have quit the business because it sounds so far away. You know, um, Patience is that's a time thing, man, and that's something that it's hard to master, especially when your heart and mind is set on something and you call yourself having a goal.
Right.
It's okay to make goals, but just make sure you lift those goals up to God, because if the goal don't happen when you want it to happen, you're gonna be ready to quit. But that's
Right.
where your faith got to kick in. You know, I'm 51 years old and I'm still an independent artist. I came into the game mainstream, signed to Motown, from Motown to Columbia, and then I went indie with the label. I won't even mention they were that bad. So when I realized that I wasn't getting anywhere with those two labels, a black label, a white label, and an indie label, and the indie label, I'm the only one on the roster, and they still get it wrong. I said, okay, there has to be another path for me.
Right.
I didn't think, that I would be going through what I was going through at that time with three different labels. And you talk about patience, and I'm like, Lord, I just want to get some great music out. I
Yeah.
want to be able to have a nice living, doing what I love to do. There's nothing wrong with that, and don't feel bad for wanting that.
Right.
Want that for your life. Nobody's born saying that they want to labor.
Right.
Nobody was. I don't know one person that was born on this earth or read any books from the past that somebody was born saying that they wanted to be a slave.
Nope.
I ain't never read that in history.
Me
I
either.
ain't read it in the Bible nowhere that somebody was born and said, "I want to be a slave."
Right. Nope.
Come on, man. You want the best you can have for your life, but that's going to take patience, man. If you're asking for something and you want it a certain way, and you want it without giving your soul on a platter, that's going to take some patience, man. And you may not get, depending on what you're asking for, you may not get because it might not line up with the will of God.
Yeah.
It might not. It's gonna line up with the will of the world. And if you ain't willing to give the world what they want to get what it is you asking for, I mean, I'm gonna have to go put some whiskey in there. I need some
Yeah.
communion, and
Cream
it's Sunday
soda.
too.
Cream soda.
I'm gonna have to put some whiskey in here for my communion. Yes, yes.
but I also,
Mm-hmm.
but I
It ain't even
also,
first Sunday yet.
right? But I also think patience equals longevity because
Yeah,
without that patience, you wouldn't have to learn. You would never learn the music business to put you in a
no.
better position you're in today. But yeah, just talk about how patience and longevity goes hand in hand because to me, they go hand in hand.
Well,
To
they
me,
definitely go hand. They definitely go hand in hand. Patience and longevity, but you got to throw wisdom in there too, because you get knowledge from reading the books,
yeah,
but you get wisdom from living what's in the books.
facts.
So there's a difference. Um, Patience, longevity. I mean, you gotta have endurance. You may as well throw that in there too,
Yep.
because you gotta endure all that's coming your way while you patiently waiting for uh for what it is that you're asking to come to pass. And it's going to take that time. You got to have longevity. You got to know how to have some staying power, and just continue to maneuver and ask God to give you something to do while you're waiting on that breakthrough. It's not easy. It's not easy, man. You know how many people I've heard say to me, "Man, I wish I was where you are." Well, go through what I went through.
Yeah.
I've even had family hate on me to say, you know, man, I'm just gonna jump in and sing, and I'm just gonna do this. No, no, you're not. No, you ain't. You ain't gonna last. You won't last 6 months.
No, you're right. You're right.
Feel
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Until you feel this, my high
I feel
shoe.
like
Until
coming
you
from
feel
the
my
screen.
shoes,
Yes, I
if
do.
you feel until you feel my shoes, shut your mouth and go
Yes.
on and do what you were already doing before. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Feel my shoes. Until then, I don't want to hear nothing you gotta say.
That's right.
Carry that shit somewhere else. I don't want to hear that. Just keeping it real, man.
No,
Just
no,
keeping it real.
and I think the
I don't want to
artists
hear
need
that.
to know that because sometimes what
Yeah,
happens is people sugarcoat things like, "Oh, you can do it." No, you got to put the work,
you
and
gotta
you
put
have
in
to
the work.
listen, and
You
you
gotta
have to
put in the
listen.
work. Let me tell you something, man. I worked with, and I won't say names, but I worked with an artist that two other artists turned down. They wouldn't produce nothing for this artist,
Wow,
and this artist reached out to me and asked me to do a tune with them.
wow,
And I found out I wasn't the first call.
wow,
So, but then when they found out that I had everything that they needed to help them,
right.
they dug in and just wanted me to just do stuff for free and all this. I'm like, no, 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 no. But see, here's the thing. These other artists turned them down because they could not give this artist what this artist needed. A
Mm,
song to get on the air and resurrect this person's career. But
right,
the underdog turned out to be the one that had everything that this artist needs as a one man machine. Because
right.
I can record, mix,
I
master,
know
all of that stuff
you can
myself.
do
But
all that stuff. I know that.
this Christmas project that I got out, my little Christmas
Yeah,
EP is a combination of everything that all the Christmas stuff that I've done over the years on my own. Well, that's all me on those recordings. I literally record, mix, master my stuff, one man machine. That's what I am. They called me the Soul Jazz Superman when I had my radio show, The Living Room. And this artist found out after, going to the other people that they felt had bigger names than me, and was turned down by them. They come to find out that this artist, me, could give them everything they needed, you know. And the sad thing is that they were willing to pay other people to do the work. But when they saw that I was a nice guy and that I'm willing to record with you, and I say, hey, I'm this real nice guy,
right.
and but they don't want to cover me. They don't want to pay for me to do the work just because I'm singing on them. Somebody's got to cut it, right?
Yeah.
But then they saw that there's another side of me. There's still
Mm,
a business side of me.
yeah.
So I get taken for granted a lot because I laugh, joke, and the whole nine. But there's a business side. And these are also things that I have to have patience in dealing with, being taken for granted. Being taken for granted. This real nice guy that's got all this talent, but oh, he'll do it for free. Man, I got bills too. Shit, I got an Infinity down there that need gas.
Yeah.
I got an old Pontiac that I ain't getting rid of that need gas.
Yes,
You
yeah.
know, yo, do you know it costs to have this interview right now?
I know.
It's
That's why I
called
said thank you.
it's called electricity.
Yes.
Electricity,
Yes.
electricity. It
Yes.
is.
That's why I said thank you in the
Come on,
beginning.
man. You know, man, I'm telling you, it's called internet,
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I could cut tracks all day for free, but for me,
You got bills to pay. And then the funny
you
thing
know,
about it that you bring it up is that this person didn't do their homework and didn't see your resume of the people you work with. And those artists that
that I think you're
all
right on
quote
that.
they reach out to never work with those artists.
Yeah, you are so on point. You are so on point, and I didn't even have to say that, but that was it. You are so on point. They underestimate me because I'm not that quote unquote household name out there, you know. But my how do I say this? I may not be that big household name. I'll say yet because it's never too late. But my career is valuable. I have a
It
very
is.
valuable career. The people that I've worked with, the fact that I could do so much that other artists can't do, and I'm not trying to slight them. Everybody's got their own lane, but I was forced into this lane because
Yeah.
there was never any support for me at any label. They never serviced me to radio, videos, none of that. I was never serviced to anything mainstream as a mainstream artist. I never got those breaks that everybody else got. So for anybody to know who Frank McComb is me, my family, and God. We're the
Yeah.
reason you know because I didn't quit. And
That's right.
that takes longevity. It takes endurance. It takes being talked down on. I mean, I had family tell me a man don't want to work, man don't want to eat,
That's right.
you know? And that's what they told me. They wanted me to put down my career and go work at a drugstore.
Wow.
I'm not lying to you. This is for real. But had I put down my career and worked at a drugstore, my son never would have the interest of being a producer, a beat
Yep.
maker, and an engineer. And he's got all of that under his belt.
Record.
If I would have put down my career or put down my living and went to work at a drugstore, my daughter probably would not be inspired to be
Yeah.
in the hotel field and to expand and go out and do her own thing in the field, to be an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
you know, to be her own woman.
Yeah.
So no, don't let people speak over you what they think should be on you.
That's right.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't let it, you know, and unspeak things that were spoken over you as a child. Get
Yep.
that off of you. Rebuke it because I was told that I was going to go to work just to take care of my family.
Right.
No, I got a family to take care of.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about cousins and all of them vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
No, that don't work like that. No, sorry.
I tell people Frank McComb is like the color blue. He's everywhere. You may not know, but he's everywhere.
Just like the sky.
Right.
You know, I had a slogan, Frank McComb, everywhere all the time. Everywhere all the time was
That's
my
right.
slogan. Everywhere all the time. And I'm telling you, man, it's just having this gift. I love I love the gift that God gave me. You know, and it's not just my music, but family. You know, my wife, my
Right.
kids, the ability to be able to travel. And when I was told that I was too stupid to learn piano, that was
Right.
spoken over me when I was a kid. Believe it or not. But I got it in 3 lessons, and I'm out here.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm grateful for the gift that I have because in the world's eyes, in the eyes of the world, if you look at it on paper, I ain't supposed to be here.
Facts.
There's no way in the world a man with 3 piano lessons could record all of his own music, mix it, master it, and sell it directly to the public. On paper, I ain't supposed to be here.
And you
Ain't no
are.
way in the world I'm supposed to be able to do that and raise a family with my wife. I ain't supposed to be here. Not that it was always easy. It was rough because I'm dealing with knuckleheads in the business, not the good
Right.
people. I'm still waiting. There are some great people in this record business,
Right.
and I just haven't had the opportunity to work with a lot of them. You
But
know,
they know you
I
there.
mean, and
They
I'm
know you
here.
exist.
I could make a lot of people a lot of money if they just came on and just found me. But
Yeah.
I'll keep it. I do it myself. I do it
Just keep
myself.
doing it
You
yourself.
know,
That's yeah.
because
They'll
that
come to you when they
yeah,
really yeah they're gonna come to you.
because at the end of the day, companies always want somebody that can actually just bring the product to them if they don't have to put up the money for it to get done.
Yeah.
You want that artist and that product, that artist that can do everything for himself, but then at the same time, they want to be able to control it. So if they're not putting money up for it, then they don't have no control.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody putting up money to do something, they're gonna have some say so.
Yep. Yep.
you know? So I mean it's like being in a trick bag,
That's right.
so yeah, that's just the game. That's how it
Mhm.
is. But
Mhm.
it's not gonna stop me from doing what I love to do. And I love making great music to the best of my ability and getting it out directly to the people. And I don't have anybody over me telling me what I can and
That's right.
cannot do, you know. So
Yes,
yeah, I've had my
facts.
share of that.
And then one of my favorite albums, I is like really eerily beautiful, is your tribute to Donny Hathaway. Because I
Hmm.
listened to that
Oh,
album from
thanks.
beginning to end. Because I
Hmm.
felt like the spirit of Donny Hathaway was with you, and I felt like
Oh wow,
that
thanks.
was a very emotional live album.
Hmm.
Because I'm all about the detail of an artist's voice and when they're in that moment. And I felt like you
Hmm.
were in that moment with Donny Hathaway, and it was very emotional. Was it emotional for you spiritually, mentally at that time when you
Actually, more mentally even than spiritually, because I was already kind of prompted to do it. Um, I say more mentally than anything because people are critical, and I felt that I was setting myself up for all the criticism, but then there was something else in me on the spiritual side that said, don't care about that. Don't concern yourself with people. Don't. I remember I had just gotten to New York from Seattle, I think it was, to play the bitter end. And for those who don't know, the Bitter End is a place where Hathaway did his 70. It was recorded in 71, released in 72, the Donny Hathaway live album. Um, I had just gotten there to play, and the late Kenny Gorka asked me about doing a live record there. And I was like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll do a live record here. He said, we won't charge you nothing. Just come in and do a live record. So I was excited about it, right? And I got back to my hotel room and said, how in the world am I going to do this record? Because I don't have the money for no band. I'm independent. Everything coming out of my pocket, not for
right?
me. So I had a conversation with George Benson, who I've known since I was 17. And George said, who told you you need a band? You go in there and do it by yourself. If they're not tripping on you doing it by yourself, then go in there and take your recorder that you used in South Africa for another record that I did, live in
Yeah,
Johannesburg. And he said, hook it up to their board and record it and do it by yourself. He said, if there's ever time and place to do a tribute to Donnie, this is it. I mean, I would do. He said, if I were you, I would do it as a tribute to Donnie Hathaway because he did that record in '71 in
right.
that building.
Yeah,
He said, think about it. Donnie never did a live record, and he never did, I mean, a live solo record, or
right,
let alone a studio record,
right,
just by himself and the piano.
right.
He never did a record with just piano, live or studio. So he said, man, just go in there, record it, and you own that copyright. That's your copyright.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it worked. He said he was in the house when Hathaway did that record in '71.
Wow.
George Benson said he was there. Yeah, he was in the house. And he says every time and place to do a tribute to Donnie, this is it. And I wouldn't do a tribute to Donnie for years. I mean, people asked me at least for 10 years to do it, and I wouldn't do it because of the criticisms. I just don't want to hear people saying, Donnie didn't sing it this way. Oh, shut up. I
You're
don't.
number one supporter, Danita. She loves you.
Yeah,
She
that's my
loves
buddy,
everything you
man.
do.
Danita Hathaway, cool people. Yeah, she's cool, man. She's cool. She's an advocate for mental illness.
Yeah.
She's yeah, advocate for mental illness. It was crazy because when I did that album, during that time I was working on that album, that whole little season, I was hearing from quite a few of Hathaway's friends.
Right.
Leroy Husson, I think Rick Powell, I may have heard from him. Uh, Eddie Howard, who wrote "Someday We'll All Be Free," the lyrics. He told me some really deep stories.
Right.
Really good guy. So, but just hearing from those guys, man, it was like such an honor. It was. When I did the album, actor Ruben Santiago Hudson was there. So that really made me feel special when Benson said that he was in the house when Hathaway did his record, and then I got Ruben in the house when I do mine. The great Chaz Shepard. Chaz came and sat in. And for those of you that don't know who Chaz Shepard is, he's the guy that beat up Derwin on the game.
Yeah.
But he's but I tease him all the time. I'm like, man, why you gotta
Yes.
jack Derwin up like that, man? You never do that. So come on, man. So,
That's right.
but that's my dude. Me and Chaz, we go back. Me and that's
Yes.
my dude, man. That's like my bro. We go back, man. That's another one you should interview. Really good
Oh,
guy.
yo, I'm definitely,
Chad
man. I
Shepard.
got a
Yeah,
list of
look for
people that I'm
Chad.
gonna highlight too. Um,
Yeah, put him
but
on that
before,
list because Chad's good
no, I
people. Real
will.
good people.
But
Yeah.
we're about to end this. Hopefully, this is gonna be a part two. I hope it's gonna be a
Oh,
part two.
definitely. It's done. And I'll have some whiskey in here now, man. It won't be no cream soda Pepsi.
But real fast, you got this Christmas EP out. Talk about this
Hmm.
before we wrap up. Talk about this Christmas.
Well, first off, people are always asking me to do Christmas stuff. I don't want to do the same Christmas songs everybody's cutting. Um, I did a tune with my buddy Till Bronner, who I'm about to go to Germany with. We're going to tour Germany. We toured in 2019 with the same tour, and then we got shut down. I was able to go to China for one last time before all of this jumped off. It was December of 2019, and I went to look for his version of well, our version, because I did it on his album. What are you doing for New Year's Eve? And I was going to make a post on Instagram, and when I went to type in that title, I scrolled and saw at least 100, literally 100 different versions that I stopped
Right,
looking for his. Because
right,
I was gonna make the post, I put the music on Instagram, post
right,
on that.
right,
Yeah,
right,
I got tired of looking for it.
right.
So I said to myself, I do not want to cover, and that was confirmation of my thoughts. I do not want to cover the same songs everybody else covering. I don't want to try to come up with another arrangement for what are you doing for New Year's Eve, Merry Christmas to you, the Christmas song. Yeah. So what I decided to do over the last, I say since 2013 or so, if I feel up to it, I'll come up with a Christmas tune. So around 13, I did a song called "How I Remember Christmas," which describes exactly how Christmas was for me growing up in Cleveland, Ohio. The fun, getting Christmas clothes. I didn't want no clothes for Christmas. I wanted a bike. My brother got all the cool toys, and every year I thought we were gonna like we would have a bet who's gonna have the
Right.
most toys or the better toys. He won every year. Toys that I would ask for, he would get
Right.
because he was the older brother, I guess. I don't know. And then there was, watching my mother, my grandmother, and all my aunts. They stand around the piano singing, and I would just sit there watching while everybody else went outside after eating. They would go outside, have snowball battles outside in the evening after we've all finished eating. And I'm watching
Right.
them just stand around the piano and sing. So I stayed inside watching, like, wow, I want to do this when I grow up. So all of this is
Wow.
in that song. Then there
Wow.
was there's Christmas 2020. I purposely wrote this song for the year 2020. The only gift I want this year is peace. 2020 was such a horrific year.
It was.
And for us to be starting a new decade, and we're 20 years into the millennium, and look at where we are.
Yeah.
Um, I purposely wrote that song for the year 2020, and now I consider it a memorial tune. It's a let us not forget type of tune.
Yes.
You know, I had someone in Australia reach out to me and suggest that I change the lyrics so that it could be for any year. Now, I'm honored and I appreciate that, but that's not what I wrote it for.
Right.
I didn't want to change the lyrics. I specifically talked about 2020
Right.
because what went on in 2020, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
and the lyrics are like the second verse says, I'm going to be bold enough to say that we should be grateful today and not live in fear.
Yeah.
The mess that the year caused for us in that year. I mean, we're still here.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, many tears we cried because we lost so many lives this year. And I mean, that's all in the second verse. But
Right.
I'm basically talking about that year
Yeah.
purposely. And I put that on this fourth song compilation. Then there's John P. Key, No Christmas Without You. It's his classic hit,
Yeah.
Christmas tune. John called me up and said, "Hey Frank, I want you and Kimberell, and I want all of y'all, you and Demar and Kimberell, y'all to sing the song with me. We're gonna flip this song." I was like, "Let's do it." I love my big brother. I love my big brother. John P. Key is crazy. I love him. When he's excited, we all gonna cut this song, man. We're gonna do it.
You sound like a
Love John,
coach.
right? Right. He is a coach. Because he always coaching us, man. Always coaching us. John Key. I love John P. Key. That is my big brother, man. He'll tell you. That's another one you should try to get. Try to get him on
I'm
here.
gonna try
But
because he doesn't like what's it? He doesn't like sugar in his oatmeal or something like he had songs on. Oh, sugar
It
don't
was
go on
something him
grits.
and Fred Hammond. Now you know that Fred's my big brother. Fred, they had something going on with the grits, salt and sugar in the grits. I believe it was.
Yes,
Them two,
yes.
man, they crazy. They are crazy. I love those guys. But yeah, he decided to want to flip his tune, right? And he invited me. So when working with John, and mind you, I've been working off and on with John for like 20, maybe 23 years, right?
Right.
And whenever you work with John, he wants us all to sing the song from top to bottom, right? And then he's like an editing master, right?
Right.
He'll take pieces and put it all together and make one big track out of everybody. I told him, I said, you almost as good an editor as me. You're almost
Mm.
as good as me, right? But he's an editing master. I tell him, you almost as good as me. Almost. But like we clown, man. I love John. So he heard my lead vocal on the tune, and he's like, "Man, you need to make a version of your own. You
Wow.
really killed it." So I was like, "Okay, do I have your permission?" He said, "Man, I told you to do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it." So I did, No Christmas Without You, and I programmed and did everything on that one as well. That one, and How I Remember Christmas, Christmas 2020. That's
Mhm.
all me. And Najee's playing flute on Christmas 2020.
Wow.
How I Remember Christmas. Ingrid Jensen She played the trumpet solo in
Wow.
China. Actually, we were in China some years ago, and
Wow.
she cut it right there in my hotel room. And then David P. Stevens is playing guitar on that out of Philadelphia. Um, this tune, No Christmas Without You, that's all me on that song. Programmed the drums and everything. Um, and then that leads me to Christmas Day. John flipping his Christmas hit, his Christmas classic,
Right.
inspired me. Um, you need to flip this tune. You need to flip Christmas Day. And I said, well, if John can flip his tune, then I can flip my tune. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip it. So Christmas Day, it took me 2 days, literally 2 days. I can cut fast. It took me 2 days to do that whole track. But it took me a little time to do the vocals because, I still have other stuff I need to do. But the actual track itself was done in 2 days. So I flipped my own tune, and that's all me as well. And I decided, okay, after putting out the single with John,
Right.
John's tune, I
Right.
decided, well, let me put Christmas Day out as a single because Motown, I originally did it in '94 for Motown. It
Right.
was supposed to be a single, but I never heard it on the radio and I never heard them push it. So I decided
Right.
I'll do it myself. So I flipped it and I put it out. And then I thought about it again. I said, well, I own my own little imprint and I can do what I want to do. Let me put all these
Yep.
songs on a compilation, So because, I didn't really get a push with How I Remember Christmas back in, what was that, 13, 12, 13, somewhere around that time. And I figured, let me just put them all on one compilation. Have my buddy Shamar, the artist, knock out the artwork for me. So he knocked it out, and I put it out on Thanksgiving Day. So
And
I
it's
mean, people can get the singles if they want, and they can get the whole thing if they want. Now, if they get the whole EP, there's a bonus track on there where I was at the North Sea Jazz Club in Amsterdam, Christmas Day, I think 2016. And that's my actual band, the Frank McComb Quartet. Um, Hiran Vroom on drums, his brother Yariv on percussion, and Glenn Gaddam Jr. on bass. We were playing North Sea Jazz Club. We
Mhm.
did it 3 consecutive years, and then the club ended up shutting down. Such a great club, but we
Right.
sold out every single show, 2 shows a
Wow.
night. No, let me take that back. The first time we did was one show, two sets.
Right.
Second night, the second year was 2 nights with 2 sets, and then the third year was 3 nights,
Right.
2 sets. And we sold out every single show, and then they went out of business.
That's
But I was able to capture a version of this Christmas, and I had my voice. My voice wasn't the greatest, only because I had been doing a lot of interviews. The weather changes, the climate
right.
changes, that kind of thing. So it was
Right.
starting to take its toll, and very little sleep. But it was so much fun because when you listen to it, it sounds like an old Ramsey Lewis, old Herbie Hancock record, like Ramsey Lewis, Herbie Hancock, back in their Columbia Records days.
Yep.
We're talking like 1973,
Yep.
74. Just think kind of like Sun Goddess meets Thrust or Sun Goddess meets Headhunters. And with Stevie or Hathaway's voice on top,
Yep.
tired. But but it was so raw and it was so rare. I said, let me just share it with the people. So people can go to my Bandcamp and get this thing. It's called Soul for Christmas, not Soulful Christmas. Soul for Christmas. I'm giving you soul for Christmas.
Yeah,
So I
he
love
is.
what Shamar did with the box. It's a Christmas. I had this
Yes.
idea of a Christmas box, a Christmas gift being open and his notes coming out. So
Yes.
my buddy Shamar, he made the illustration, hooked it up. Exactly what I saw in my head.
Please
He
make
hooked it
that
up.
into like a T-shirt and some hats merchandise. I think that would be dope as merchandise.
Ah,
Real talk.
good idea. I got, oh man, why didn't I think of that?
Should have
Oh
called me. You have my
man.
number. I could have given you
Oh,
that idea.
oh man, it's your fault, man. I'm blaming it on you. You. You.
It's
Oh,
still
your
not
fault,
late.
man.
It's still not late. It's not Christmas late yet. It's
Well,
still
no, it's kind of late. It is
yeah.
because, well, no, because I would want to take some of that over to Berlin or
Yeah.
over to Germany rather with me and Till. But I can get in touch with my graphics person, and I can tell my graphics person to set it up because Chris, my buddy Chris, she takes care of all of my hats, like Booby School
Okay.
Music and my FM hats and sweatshirts and things. So just send an email to Chris CHRIS at 3104customs.com. Or is it no no no? I think it's 3104customs at gmail.com. 3104customs at gmail.com. I think that's it. But I've got one even better. If everybody goes to um, it's frankmccombmusic.com. Everything is there. My Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, where to get my hats, and probably the next show that's coming up is frankmccombmusic.com. That's the one-stop shop for everything. And you'll see where to get my hats and all my merchandise there. So what I might do is I might have I'll have Chris set that up. It's a good idea. I'll
Yeah,
send that picture to her and have
yeah,
her set it up.
make that happen. So the good people out
Yeah.
there, that his link is going to be in the description below. So go get that music, and you know what? Get his other music too. Get his other catalog, man, because he got to pay his light
Oh
bills. He
yeah,
got to pay the gas.
right. I gotta get the gas for that Infinity. So and then for the music, I gotta get
Right,
gas
I
until I
know.
get a Tesla. Until I
Right,
get a Tesla.
right.
so so to get the music, go to frankmccomb.bandcamp.com. That's FrankMcComb.bandcamp, like band with musicians,
Yes.
and camp like camping out,
Yeah.
with the bears and the bees.
Yeah.
frankmccomb.bandcamp.com and get all my music there. Yeah,
Yes.
that's and that should be that link should also be with frankmccombmusic.com. It should be there as well. So that's the one-stop shop for everything. So yes, and I tell people all the time, when you go to the digital outlets, and all my stuff's there as well. You got Instagram. I'm not Instagram. What am I saying? You got Spotify, Apple Music, and all of that, yada yada. People go there and stream and download. When you download music there, you get your music right away. But we, as the recording artists, we don't see that for another 3 months. But if you go to my Bandcamp page, frankmccomb.bandcamp.com, download all of my music there, and I'll see those ties and offers in 2 days, not 3 months, but 2 days.
Right.
So support the artist and not the system.
There you
That's what I
go.
ask. Support the artist and not the system.
And we're
Yeah.
gonna end off with that. Mr. McComb, thank you for coming
Yes,
on.
sir.
Wait for part 2, and we're out of here.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.